What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Apex Alchemy. We're going to do a HRC test on this Shed Knives Resilience, and I want to talk to you a little bit about it beforehand. Jack Billings is the owner and operator at Shed Knives. I have already tested this. I accidentally deleted the video. He didn't lie to us. It's well documented in Choir Boys Outdoors with Scab and Joe interview with Jack Billings from Shed Knives, that he doesn't heat treat his knives. I think that's changing. I think he's the last time I watched a Shed Knives video, he was looking for heat treat solutions. And he also talked about this in depth with the Bob DeMarco interview. So with Bob DeMarco on the Knife Junkie podcast with Shed Knives, it can be found again. So it's not that he didn't heat treat the knives and lied to us and told us that he did. He told us that he didn't heat treat the knives. He told us that he did testing on the knives, and the 154 CM that he was using, he couldn't tell a difference in performance. And I've got to be honest, man. You go dig deep. This knife is called the Resilience. I've got a video out on it, and we beat the ever-loving snot out of the knife, and it didn't roll an edge. It didn't roll an edge. It didn't take any damage. It didn't chip or anything. Of course, we wouldn't expect it to chip, but it didn't roll an edge. It didn't take any damage. It did very well for any knife, as far as what the knife was made for. Since then, it has had a regrind by Satu Dave. Satu Dave put a hollow grind on there for me. It was very thick behind the edge, and it just wasn't, actually, it kind of did it for Courtney, because this is Courtney's knife. He did the hollow grind on the knife, and it's a little more slicey now, and it still doesn't, it's not a knife we use all the time. I'm not going to act like it is, but I just want to be upfront. For the next test that you're going to see numbers like 15 and 20, which is annealed steel hardnesses. A steel isn't even mildly hardened until it's in the 30s, and that's not generally what we see in the knife world. We normally see mid 50s to mid 60s as being that will cover 98% of the knives that are out there. There are exceptions to the rules, but anyway, just wanted to preface this one, because this isn't going to be like the rest of the testings that you've seen, and this isn't supposed to be a slam against Jack Billings. He was very transparent about his practices. Before we bought this knife, it was a handmade knife by a U.S. maker in the United States for like 125 bucks. Just get that out there. We're gonna take these handles off, and I'm gonna redo the test. That way we can. I deleted the video. It's time to reshoot it. But anyway, you got any questions, comments, concerns? That's fine. I just don't want you to think that Jack was trying to sell us something that that was not being not being honest. He was honest about it the entire way. So enjoy the rest of the video. As always, you get any value out of the video, push subscribe. See you at the test table. Okay, guys. You see these little glittery parts? That's where the knife's already been poked. I poked it here. I poked it here. Didn't poke it down there, but I poked it twice at the spine of the blade, which you can see. On the other side, fortunately, it doesn't have any testing at all. So what we're going to do is we're going to test this side of the knife a couple times. Like I said, the numbers you're going to see aren't what you're going to normally be used to seeing. And I don't know what Jack is doing these days as far as the heat treat is going. I know he was looking for solutions for buying American screws, and I know he was looking for solutions on his heat treat process. Honestly, I was extremely surprised. I thought that maybe he was having the knives heat treated, or the steel was coming heat treated, and he just didn't know it. Because I've never heard of anybody selling a knife that wasn't heat treated. But this is kind of big, you know, in my opinion, because since then, this is 154 CM, by the way, we have actually found a couple of other makers that don't heat treat their knives, that use the same exact steel, and they're claiming to get similar performance. I'm not here to debate that because I'm not an expert in the matter. I know I've owned this knife and for quite some time, since Blade Show of last year. So, you know, we've had this knife for a year. It gets a little bit of time, but it doesn't get a lot of time. And yeah, see, so that number right there is going to be 17. And that's, you know, that's an annealed knife. That's, you know, it's not like a naturalized number. Well, I mean, it could be a naturalized number. I'm sorry. That's not true. Sometimes probably talking out my ass, getting some lingo wrong, but sometimes whenever I'm trying to redo a heat treat, I end up with numbers like 30 after I soak it for a couple of hours. So did I even move that? I didn't move it, y'all. Did I move it? Yeah, I reckon I did. Okay. But we'll, just wasting your time. But as far as I can tell, Jack makes these knives in batches and stuff, and this is the SK23, so this is shed knives. That's what it means, 2023. So I think his SK24 stuff is going to be in CPM 154. I may be completely wrong, and I think it's going to have a heat treat, regardless of how that actually happens. And this number is going to see, you're going to see around 19. So we're going to move this further down the blade. But the most important thing here, as I've mentioned before, is that Jack wasn't dishonest. You know, that is the most important thing about this. Whether I think it's a smart idea to heat treat a knife or not, and obviously I do. I heat treat my knives, but that is beyond. That is a total different conversation. All we need to know is that the seller and the maker, you know, in this case it'd be the same guy, is not being deceiving. They're not trying to get one over on you. You know, like Jack has told everybody that these knives weren't heat treated. 17. Okay, so I'm going to end it there. We are building a catalog, a video catalog of knives that we want to get heat treated. I'm sorry, we want the results for the heat treat. So if you have knives that you would like to see the results on, if you have any suggestions, like if there's a model that you would like to see but you don't have one, let me know what it is. I might be able to borrow one from someone else. But most importantly, if you have knives in your collection you would like to get tested, and you know, you don't want to see the divot on the blade. Maybe it's a folding knife, it's a nice knife, and you don't want to see that mark there. Disassemble the knife. We can test it around the pivot in the tang of the folder, and you won't see that divot. So there's ways to work around everything. You guys have a good one. Get any value out of this stuff, hit subscribe, like, comment. All that stuff's important. We'll catch you on the flip side.